are going to look at fat electricians, chickens conspiracy robbing Americans of the Toyota Hilux. So we're gonna watch the fat electricians video that you guys were spamming me during this last video. So we'll take a look at this. It's a little short little video, so we'll watch it. This unhinged rant time? Okay. These should be good. Yeah, well, I'll keep in mind it's only one of the reasons. It's one reason. I will keep that in mind. But let's check this out.
Just once in my life, I would like to go to the internet with a question and have my question answered without falling into an enormous rabbit hole of government conspiracies and nonsense.
Yeah, but then, electrician, you wouldn't have a video. You know, consider it job security.
Okay, long story short, Toyota's got this new truck coming out. It's just a flatbed, plain Jane work truck, nothing fancy about it, and it was supposed to be like $10,000 or $11,000 brand new. So naturally, I wanted one. So naturally, I go to the internet with a simple question, am I going to be able to buy this new Toyota truck in America? To which I am met with the answer, probably not, most likely for the same reason you can't buy a Toyota Hilux, which is the other thing that's been pissing me off for 10 years inside of America. And naturally, in the back of my head, I just kind of assumed like, oh, Toyota just doesn't want to sell that truck in America for some reason. Maybe the money's not right, it costs too much to import, whatever. And yeah, it does cost too much to import, but it's because of chickens and Lyndon B. Johnson. That's why.
What's that? Nick's so mad he forgot to send me a segue for the ad? Well, that means we gotta do it, right? Yeah. I don't know what that was. Play the ad. Me?
This video is sponsored by Aura, where you can get everything you need to be safe and productive online in one convenient location. When you sign up for Aura, you're going to get a password manager that's going to help you have a strong and unique password for every online account that you have. In addition to that, you're also going to get antivirus software as well as a VPN. But Aura doesn't just keep your computer safe, they also keep your identity and your money safe as well.
I mean, Shadow, it's a false sense of security. That's the whole thing. So, of course, they don't take that into account, that it's like a false sense of security.
Unfortunate situation that somehow that isn't enough and your identity still gets stolen. They offer up to $1 million in insurance and a team that is available 24/7 to help you resolve the issue. So go ahead and use my link down below. You're going to get a 14-day free trial with Aura. Let's get back to the video. And I can hear the comment section already. Buh, if you want a Hilux, just get a Tacoma. They're basically the same thing. Buh. No, they are not, for multiple reasons. For one, I've driven a Tacoma, and it is literally the slowest moving vehicle I have ever driven in my entire life. That thing accelerates from 0 to 60 in like 3 to 5 business days, okay? Fucking Fred Flintstone would beat that thing in a drag race. Secondly, I don't vividly remember being 14 years old watching Top Gear with my dad and seeing those guys drop a fucking Tacoma into the ocean for 8 hours, fishing it out, and then getting it started in like 15 minutes. And then because that wasn't enough to kill it, they decided they were going to hit it with a wrecking ball, drive it through a building, light it on fire, and then stick it on top of a skyscraper before blowing the entire building up with it. And then the motherfucker still started, okay? Tacomas are not on the same level as Hiluxes. I don't care what you say, you will never convince me otherwise. It is the equivalent of my mom trying to convince me that store brand toaster pastries are Pop-Tarts. No, they're not. Pop-Tarts are Pop-Tarts, and Pop-Tarts are fucking awesome. And you want to know why I can't get my metaphorical Pop-Tart? Why I can't own and drive my own Toyota Hilux? It's because America was too good at selling chickens in the 1950s and 60s. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so here's the deal. Generally speaking, throughout the majority of human history, chickens have always been like super expensive and seen as only something that rich people got to eat until very recently, which...
And Soggy Water, thank you for the follow and welcome. So, okay, so I was captivated by the video footage you were showing. So what Top Gear was like royally fucking up and it was still starting, that was the Hilux, correct? Is that what the that Top Gear footage was? That the Hilux or was that the Tacoma? That was the Hilux. Okay, so the Hilux is unkillable. Gotcha. Okay.
think about it for a second, it starts to make a little bit more sense. You have like cows and goats and llamas and whatever other fucking farm animals you have, and they just basically wander around and they eat the grass, okay? That's not very expensive. Then you have pigs, you could literally just feed them garbage and they'll turn it into bacon somehow through evolutionary magic. Chickens, on the other hand, you have to like feed them grain and like actually give them real food that a human could technically eat. So, historically speaking, they've always been one of the more expensive farm animals, so only rich people got to eat them. Then in the 1950s, after World War II, thanks to refrigeration and a couple of other innovations, America got super good at raising chickens. They got so good, in fact, that we could raise chickens, slaughter them in America, ship them across a fucking ocean while refrigerating them, and sell them in Europe, and it was still cheaper than people could grow and raise chickens in Europe, so Europe was eating a bunch of American chicken.
So they had too much cock?
I guess that's one way to put it. Why?
Because
Just never thought I'd hear that come out of my mouth. Just never thought I'd hear that come out of my mouth.
oh.
Anyways, this goes on.
Oh shit! I didn't know he had a nose ring. I never realized he had a nose ring. Did you guys know that? I had to. That's not. Stop. No bonk. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, right there. I never realized he had a nose ring. The light happened to catch it just right when he was turning, and I saw the glint, and I was like, oh shit, he's got a nose ring. I didn't know that.
Anyways, this goes on for a number of years, and the European countries, primarily Germany, was spearheading this entire thing. They get together.
No, Sadistic, that's not a mole. Watch when you look. That is not a mole. A mole does not glint like that.
Just never thought I'd hear that come out of my mouth.
Anyways, this goes on for a number of years, and the European countries, primarily Germany, was spearheading this entire thing. They get together and they're like, hey, let's put a 25% tariff on American chicken coming into the European market. That way, European chicken is more competitive. And if that wasn't enough, they started a major propaganda campaign basically saying that America fills their chickens full of antibiotics and growth hormones, so it's really unhealthy for people to eat, which, I mean, honestly, that's probably a fair assessment. But regardless, America's now pissed off. So this is 1962 when this European tariff on American chicken.
No, Eki, I fully approve the statement. It's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean. I approve.
Chicken passes, and for the next 18 months, it is the pinnacle of American politics, trying to get Europe to buy more American chickens, and it becomes known as the Chicken War, right in the middle of the Cold War. I'm not even exaggerating, there were literally American politicians that cared more about getting Europeans to eat more chicken than they did about the pending nuclear war with the Soviet Union. The Chancellor of Germany, Konrad Adenauer, said that he had more conversations with JFK about Germans eating American chicken than he did about the pending nuclear war. There was a senator from Arkansas that was sitting in a NATO meeting when he stood up, interrupted the entire NATO meeting, and declared that
Hey! Not that the kitty. Why am I getting bonked? No bonk.
America was going to withdraw from NATO and Europe could defend itself if they didn't lift the sanctions on American chicken. Obviously, that didn't actually happen. Despite that, the tariff ended up staying up, and after 18 months of trying to diplomatically solve this issue, then President Lyndon B. Johnson is like, fuck it, I'm just going to put a tariff on you guys too, and he put a 25% tariff on potato starch, dextrin, brandy, and light cargo vehicles. Now,
Oh, shit. That's a hell of a tariff. A 25% tariff on all that stuff, including, like, the cargo vehicles especially? That's gonna fucking hurt. Holy shit. I mean, you're not making friends doing that, that's for damn sure.
obviously, chicken is a food product, which they are tariffing, so America is going to tariff dextrin, potato starch, and brandy, which are also food products. That part makes sense, but why on earth is America going to start taxing light cargo vehicles? Well, you see, that's where the good old-fashioned political corruption comes in, because it's 1964, it's an election year, and the UAE is about to go on strike, the United Automotive Workers Union, and them going on strike during an election year is going to be disastrous for Lyndon B. Johnson's chances of getting reelected. So LBJ and the president of the UAE come to a little quid pro quo.
I find it funny that he keeps misspeaking UAW and instead is calling it the United Arab Emirates by mistake. I find it kind of funny.
Agreement. In exchange for the UAE not going on strike during LBJ's election, LBJ is going to abuse his political power to make sure that somehow, some way, so many Volkswagen Type 2s, which are incredibly popular in America right now, quit getting imported, aka the Love Bus. You know, you've seen those. This is where they went. They went away because of this. So this is why light cargo vehicles gets added to the chicken tax, adding a 25% tariff to basically make it so that Germany can't import the Type 2. Now, light cargo vehicle at this point in time is defined as 2 seats or less and designed to transport cargo. So then because of that, all the foreign auto car makers like Toyota and Honda and all the other ones that make small trucks, not wanting to pay a 25% tax to import their trucks, start importing the truck itself, like the chassis and the cab and the motor, all completely built in their country, and then they ship over the bed separately, and then they have a warehouse where they like throw a couple of bolts on and attach the bed, so that way it's assembled in America and they're only going to get taxed 4% instead of 25% because the US government is this fucking stupid. So then in the 1980s, the US government closes that loophole, to which all the other auto car makers are like, fine, we'll just exploit another loophole, we'll just start adding more seats, so that way there's more than 2 seats, so it's not a cargo vehicle, it's just a normal vehicle. And this is why every small to mid-sized truck, 1980s through like the early 2000s, had those tiny little seats in the back that no human could ever actually fit on. It's because they were never actually designed for people to sit on. They were just there so that they could legally say, oh, it's designed to sit more than 2 people, therefore I get taxed at 4% instead of 25%, again, because the government is dumb. Which, fun fact, this is also why the Subaru Brat had those stupid plastic seats in the back.
And this is the car I was thinking of earlier. The Brat. Wow, those are some safe looking seats there, Chad. Let me get out of the way a little bit. Yeah, that's some real safety there. Holy fuck. I mean, it's a pretty looking little car, or slash truck, but ain't no way I put it back there.
And then they came out with the CAFE standards, which is basically like trying to, save the environment with emissions and stuff. And the rule was the vehicle has to be like proportional compared to how much emission that it emits, I guess. So like if a truck is really big, it can emit a bunch of CO2 into the atmosphere. But if a truck is really small, it's not allowed to emit a bunch of CO2 into the atmosphere. And this is actually why all the trucks in America are fucking ginormous lately in like the last 20 years, okay? I know that's like a super popular thing to bitch about. Like you hear a bunch of hippies and college kids bitching about how American trucks are too big and it's more dangerous and they're taking up space on the road and they're beating up the infrastructure. Yeah, it's because of stupid fucking emissions policies, because it's easier for automakers to just make the truck physically fucking larger than it is to make the emissions somehow magically lower. So that's why that's happening. So not only is the CAFE standards not helping with emissions and CO2, it's actually incentivizing automakers to make trucks unnecessarily ridiculously large just so they can comply with this law. And I know what you're thinking. Well, at least the chicken tax is helping American automakers compete in the market so that they can make more money and stay in business. And that's just not the case anymore either, because even they're getting fucked over by this law. Because when Ford tries to import transit vehicles, which they have made over in Turkey, they have to intentionally put extra seats and windows and shit inside of it, import it, and then send them to a factory and have all the seats and windows taken out and convert it back into a fucking cargo vehicle.
Oh
this
my
is
god.
Why all the transit vans and shit that are super popular are really fucking expensive, and this is why my work that I work at to be an electrician can't ever find a goddamn transit van to use as a work truck, because A, they're getting way more expensive because we're having to import them with extra seats so they're not cargo vehicles, because somehow that saves money, and then my boss is desperately trying to compete with all the fucking millennials that want to go live in a van and start an Instagram so they can have hash.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those van life videos where they're using a transit and they've converted it into like a fucking camper. But that's another fact I didn't realize. I didn't realize he was still working as an electrician. I thought he was just doing YouTube full time at this point. I didn't realize he was still, working as an electrician. I had no idea.
Hashtag van life in every fucking picture they post. This policy is literally helping nobody. Nobody on the planet is benefiting right now except for maybe the government so that they can get more tax money over fucking nothing, okay? Potatoes, dextrin, all that other shit, all that shit's gone. They're not tariffing that anymore. That tax went away. It's just on cargo vehicles now, and it's for no reason. And you're like, oh, this fucking fat electrician guy's just misrepresenting the entire situation because he's angry that he can't own a Toyota truck that he wants. No, that's not it. In 2003, the Cato Institute researched the entire thing. This is 21 years ago, by the way. They did all the research and they came to the conclusion, and I quote, "The chicken tax is a policy that is in search of a rationale. There's no fucking reason for this law to exist other than to fuck people over." I have literally spent the last 3 days of my life successfully wrapping my entire brain around this issue and come to the conclusion it's so fucking stupid that it's driving me insane. This is literally the epitome of government intervention. What's the problem? Oh, Germany's not eating enough American chicken. Don't worry, the government's gonna step in and help. Fast forward 70 years. Guess what?
Oh.
Germany's still not eating enough American chicken, but you're not allowed to own a Toyota Hilux either. Oh, good. I'm literally getting cock-blocked from owning my dream car. Thank you. I'll be honest, I don't even understand how I got here. Like, I woke up one morning, there was like, oh, hey, Toyota's coming out with a new truck that's gonna be super cheap and cool. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm gonna be allowed to buy it. And next thing I know, I'm fucking the internet's crazy uncle on Thanksgiving somehow.
I'd love to have him as a crazy uncle. He would be so cool to talk to at Thanksgiving. I would love to have him at Thanksgiving.
Need a beer. Okay, this is too much. I gotta go. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out. I am going to figure out a way to get a Toyota Hilux at this point. It's gonna happen.
That was fan-fucking-tastic. I mean, I learned a few things about Fat Electrician on this one, that I did not know. And I mean, let's face it. He only reaffirmed what we already knew, which is the government is stupid.